And now Moses, we find, he's a man without a people. And he becomes a wanderer in the wilderness. And you find at the end of chapter 2, he runs into some ladies who are encountering trouble while watering their flock. And he goes to protect them, and he does. And the girls go home, and they begin to tell their father the story. And their father responds, hey, wait a minute. You met a single man out here in the wilderness, and you didn't bring him home? Now, I'm paraphrasing just a little bit. But he says, go back and get him. And they do. They go back and get Moses. They bring him to Jethro, who happens to be a priest. He marries one of Jethro's daughters and spends the next 40 years in Midian working for his father-in-law, Jethro. And as we resume the story in chapter 3, Moses, he's still tending his father-in-law's flock. And verse 1 tells us that he is in Horeb, or Mount Sinai. It's the mountain of God. And for Moses, this is a long, long, long way from home. He is now just as close to Egypt as he is to home. And we're not exactly sure why Moses had wandered that far. Maybe he wants to get another glimpse of Egypt. Maybe he's remembering his past. Maybe he never got over that one moment of regret. 40 years of shepherding sheep is a long time to remember your failure. Struggling with the nagging guilt can just be absolutely paralyzing. And I don't know if you've ever experienced that. You have some sort of shame in your background, a regret that you have, and it creeps in and you stuff it down, but it just kind of pops back up. Can I just say to you this morning that because of Jesus, man, you can lay that down. Because of Jesus, that sin that some of you can't remember, God doesn't remember. The sin that you can't forget, God doesn't remember. Don't keep struggling over something that Jesus already bled for. Be free. And ultimately, we don't know why Moses has kind of fled this far from home. I mean, maybe his Waze app was messed up. We don't know. But for some reason, Moses is a long way from home. But what we do know is what you'll see is that God is willing to come to us no matter how far we wander. And God comes to Moses. And in verse 2 and 3, Moses is going to encounter God himself.